We appreciate that. And, all right, so we have taken what we think are the 12 best skill position groups in the AFC. The AFC, as we all know, is loaded, including all 4 teams in the AFC North. And we kicked out the Chargers, even though they have a good quarterback, the Colts and their young quarterback.
No, we ain't doing quarterbacks.
No, I know that. I'm just saying.
These are just weapons.
The Titans we kicked out, and the Broncos, right?
No, Titans are in this.
I was about to say. It's the Broncos,
you can pick,
Colts,
even if I didn't
Chargers.
list it, if you want to make an argument for a team
You
that's
got the
not
Titans
listed.
in, but the Colts out?
They got D-Hop.
Titans have
Get,
Hopkins, Ridley, Traylon Burks, Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
They have some weapons now.
All right.
All right, just so we're on the same page, though, if a team's not listed, you can still make a case for them if you want to put them at 10.
Patriots.
I'm going to read the
Oh, yeah,
Patriots.
the Patriots shouldn't be in there either.
They're not included.
Okay, go ahead.
But here, just so we're on the same page, I'm going to just read you the weapons for each of these teams that I made graphics for. If you want to argue for a team that's not, you still have that right. But just so we're all arguing for the same thing, we're going to run through these real quick. Steve, let's take this first one. The Browns' weapons, just so we're on the same page: Chubb, Ford, Foreman. I also excluded a few guys just to fit on the graphic, but your receivers: Cooper, Judy, Moore, Tillman, Bell. Your tight ends: Njoku and Jordan Akins. Next up is the Steelers. They have Harris, Warren, and they signed Cordero Patterson, Pickens, Cordero Patterson. They have Pickens, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, Quez Watkins, and Denzel Mims. At receiver, their tight ends: Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington, who they drafted last year. The Bengals also in this: Zach Moss, Chase Brown, Travion Williams in the backfield. Ja'Marr Chase, Tee Higgins, Irwin Jones, and Bull, you could pronounce that last one. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his name.
I can't even remember now. It's
so he's not really important. Gesicki and Hudson are your
no,
tight
no,
ends.
no. It doesn't even sound like it's spelled. I can't remember.
We'll go to the Ravens. They signed Derrick Henry. They have Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, and Tyron Wallace. Their tight ends: Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Keep going on. The Chiefs: Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Rasheed Rice, Marquise Brown. A bunch of receivers that don't truly matter. They have Kelsey and Noah Gray at tight ends. Moving on to
Jordan
the Texans.
Akins gets a mention, but their receivers don't matter.
Well, people here know who it is.
Okay.
The Texans have Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, Nico Collins, Stefon Diggs, Tank Dell, Noah Brown, Robert Woods, and John Mechie, Jordan Schultz, and Brevin Jordan in the tight end. The Dolphins have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Braxton Berrios, Carcraft, and Ezukanmama, I think. Ezukanman.
No idea.
Mostert, A-Chain, and Jeff Wilson in the backfield. And 3 tight ends. Jonnu Smith was their big offseason addition. The Bills, I put them in here. I know they lost Stefon Diggs. They still have James Cook, Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Matt Collins, and KJ Hamler, their top 4 receivers at the moment.
We can move on from that.
Whoa, they got
Kincaid,
Curtis
Knox, and
Samuel.
Morris in
Go
the tight
Bucks.
end room. The Jets
Slappy.
have Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson,
Go Bucks.
Mike Williams, who I spelt wrong, my bad, Mike, Deshaun Gibson, Alan Lazard, Conklin, and Ruckert are their tight ends. The Titans.
Who's their wide receiver? Gibson?
Xavier Gibson. He was a rookie last year.
Never even heard of him.
He had the punt return touchdown against Buffalo in week 1 to win it.
All right.
The Titans: Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Traylon Burks, and Nico Westbrook-Akine. And their tight ends are 2 guys I'm not familiar with. And I threw the Jaguars on here just as a last weapons graphic. They have ETN, Tanks Bigsby, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Zay Jones, Devin Duvernay, Parker Washington, Evan Ingram is their starting tight end. And then if you want to add any other teams in there, you are more than welcome.
I mean, the
to
Colts
add
have
teams.
Michael Pittman. They have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I should have made one for them. That's a miss on me.
Those are 2 really good players. But, yeah, I guess the rest of their
So that's
skill positions
12.
not really good.
We're going to rank our top 10. If you want to take a team that's not there, by all means, take a team that's not there. But of those 10, which group has the best overall set of weapons?
I mean, it's hard. We just race through them so quick.
I told you we were going to do this last night.
Can we?
So.
I know that. I thought maybe you'd have a graphic where it was kind of up there. Can we go through them one at a time, like just so I can look at them again?
Steve, if you go to 224, when Bull take it full, when Bull says he's good, you can move on to the next one.
All right. So for the Cavs, for the Browns, let's guys that we think are Pro Bowl caliber. All right. Is that fair? How many per team?
Okay.
So for the Browns,
There's 3.
you've got, is Nick Chubb still Pro Bowl caliber?
It's impossible to say.
It's impossible to say. Amari Cooper is. The Njoku's borderline. There you go. All right, there you go. So we'll say 3. Go ahead. Next.
I mean, I think the Dolphins are number one.
I thought the Dolphins.
Go ahead.
I don't think
Let's
it's-
just go rapid fire. Go, next one.
I don't
Next
think
one.
it's a debate for one.
Steelers have one player, Pro Bowl-ish, Pickens, I think. Go ahead. Next. Bengals have Chase, have Higgins. That's it. Two Pro Bowl players. Next. Derrick Henry, could he still be a Pro Bowler? Maybe. Zay Flowers, maybe. Mark Andrews, yes. It's added up to 2 for me. I don't know. I'm doing whatever. Go ahead, next. Rice could be a Pro Bowler. Kelsey, too. Go ahead.
Sheesh.
I think they're going to be.
Love their wide. I mean, their wide receiving core is absurd.
They're going to be really
I
good.
think they definitely.
They
might
got
too.
Nico Collins and Diggs and Dell could all be Pro Bowlers. Mixon, maybe. I guess if we put Mixon, I could put Zach Moss in too.
Well,
For
I mean,
3.
listen, Mixon can
That's
be
4. Schultz could be a Pro Bowler.
If Singletary can have a season like he had, Mixon.
That's 5. So I'm going up to 3 on the Bengals and 5 on the Texans. Go ahead.
every last
A-Chain,
one
if he
of
stayed healthy, could be a Pro Bowler.
them. Every
Hill,
last one of them.
why? I mean, Hill and Waddle. The rest of their wide receivers are nothing.
Oh, those two are pretty doggone
Those
good.
2 are great. A-Chain is really talented, but he was hurt a lot in college and he was hurt a lot last year. Mostert's solid. They got nothing at tight end. Go. Who's Smith? Who's their tight end?
Jonnu Smith.
Oh, yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's good.
All right. Go ahead.
Next.
Yeah, agreed.
Garrett.
Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson are great. The rest of those guys, Mike Williams is all right.
Mike Williams, all right.
That's it. Hopkins is good. Ridley's good. And the wide receiver, they got like 3 nice receivers.
You're interested.
Pollard's good, but, last year he had his
interesting.
first chance to be the guy, and he wasn't very good.
It's interesting.
They got nothing at tight end.
Their team is interesting, but it all falls on the quarterback.
Well, they have no quarterback, but for this argument, that doesn't matter.
You're not a Will Levis guy?
I don't like him.
He threw pretty well
no.
last year. You out on him too?
Not enough. If you make me pick right now, I'd be more out than in.
Okay.
Go ahead, next, Mike.
Last one.
Etienne is good. Kirk is good.
They're okay.
Davis?
Gabe Davis.
It's all right.
Nah, Ingram's a Pro Bowler.
I think
I
Miami.
mean, they got 3 Pro Bowlers. They're not top-end Pro Bowlers.
It's
but
Miami, Texans, Browns. That's
how is Miami number 1?
I'd put Miami 1 in Houston too.
I don't understand how Miami. I don't think Miami's 1.
I think
They
they're-
got 2.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, so do the Bengals. Have 2 great receivers.
Okay, and the running back that scored, how many touchdowns did Raheem score last year? 20
Yeah,
something.
I hear you, but he's
total.
old.
First of all, shout out to you, Raheem. That's my boy. First of
Yeah,
all,
but he's old. No, he had a good year. I give him that.
He's still fast.
But we're not judging them based on what they did last year. We're judging them what we think they're going to do this year. Now, I like A-Chain a lot. I like him better than any of the backs on the Bengals. But I would put the Texans number 1 for me.
Okay, we can do that.
I came in Miami 1.
We can
Houston
do that.
2,
But
looking at the Houston
That's
two.
fine with me. I can put the Texans
Guys,
one.
As good as Tyreke Hill and Waddle are, the rest, they have nothing, no other pass catchers that are any good.
But those 2 are so much better
I know.
than everybody
Jonnu-
else.
they're not.
Jonnu Smith
Or they-
is
They're
good.
so much better than Chase and Higgins?
No, I mean on their team. I mean
Right.
to elevate.
Jonnu Smith is good though.
Come on.
And
he's just a
Raheem
guy.
Mostert scored 20 touchdowns last year.
But I'm saying the rest of their pass catchers are nothing. Whereas the Texans, their 5th wide receiver is a good player. Like a decent player.
Who was the Texans fifth wide?
Robert
Robert
Woods.
Really?
He's their 5th wide receiver.
Dang.
Noah Brown is their 4th wide receiver.
go
Had a
Bucks.
couple of huge games last year.
Go Bucks.
But again, it's this year. I don't know. I'm voting Texans 1, but these guys are both.
No, I'm with you. I'll take the Texans for one.
All
I
right.
came in Miami 1 and Houston 2, but I mean
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue if you want to put Houston 1.
So we have
I
2
think
votes
they're-
for Houston at 1 then. So Houston now has the best crop of weapons. Are you guys going Miami too? He has 1 first-place vote from Jason.
So,
Bolin Tyvis, Miami.
all right, who else is in consideration? So,
Cincinnati,
Cincinnati. Are the Browns in consideration?
not yet. I don't think.
So let's look at Houston.
But I mean,
How can you not? Well, it's the Chubb thing.
I think Cincinnati's got better weapons than
they
Cleveland.
got 2.
They're pretty freaking good. They're better than the Browns' top 2.
Amari-
Would you rather have Chase and
Higgins.
thank you?
Don't do that.
Would you rather have Chase and Higgins or any 2 from the Browns?
I'd rather have a healthy Amari Cooper and a healthy Nick Chubb.
Really?
No.
Oh,
No,
So,
not
I mean,
at all.
The
Yeah.
Browns are top 5.
Yes, I think the Browns definitely are top
But we're not
5.
there yet.
All right, let's look Dolphins Bengals. All right, at wide receiver, who you taking Waddle and Hill over Chase and Higgins?
Yes.
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 All right, I would take
Not by much,
I would
but
take
yes.
Chase and Higgins, but maybe I'm biased, so I'll go with you guys. What about the rest of the tight end? Mike Gesicki versus
Jonnu Smith.
John Smith. That's probably a wash.
Yeah.
Running back, I give the Dolphins the edge at running back, so I'm with you. I'll go Dolphins too.
So Dolphins 2. So Houston 1, Dolphins 2.
So for 3,
Bengals.
who do we want to compare them to?
I think
The Browns.
The Browns?
Cleveland and Baltimore both. Baltimore, I think.
Okay, let's look at
Baltimore
the
don't have no receivers outside of Zay Flowers.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews is really good.
now the Browns. So
They in the same position as the Browns.
Well, that's why they're.
But
We're
you
comparing
can't-
them.
Well, I wouldn't put them. This is for number 3, though.
Well-
so that means the Browns is in contention for 3.
I would put the Bengals 3. I'd put the Bengals.
Oh, okay.
ahead
Well,
of-
yeah, I agree.
I think it's very close. I actually think it's very close
And I
between the
don't
Bengals
even-
and Browns.
I do not like Dave. I like Chase Brown more than I like Zach Moss. I really do.
Well, you get them both if you pick
Mike,
them.
are-
I'm just
The only problem is Nick Chubb. We don't know what it's
Yeah,
going to be.
it's
That's
such a
the
wild
problem
card.
right
Yeah.
now. We're projecting. I mean, with him,
Again, I would take Chase and Higgins over any 2 on the Browns. Any 2.
you'd have to, and that's
Yes.
ultimately why I'm agreeing with you. I think the Bengals would be 3. The
Are we
top-
missing anyone, Mike? As we're because I'm just doing this off the top of my head. Is there anyone?
The Titans are not this high. Obviously, the Bills no. The Steelers no.
No, I think you guys are pretty right.
Who
so
are we
far.
forgetting?
The
What
Jags.
teams?
Jags.
Jets, the
Jaguars.
Jags. Jags not bad, but they don't have that high end. They have a really good wide receiver
Christian-
one, a really good tight end one, and a really good running back one, but none of them are top end ones.
Christian Kirk is good for them. I don't know how
Right.
good he'd be with somebody else.
All right, so are we
And,
going to
if you look at Gabe Davis as big play Gabe, as he likes to call himself, that's
Yeah.
good. Because ETN is good and Evan Ingram is good. Those
Yeah,
two are
right. They're good.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Bengals 3. So let's
Now is where the debate begins.
so now Browns versus Ravens.
Browns, Ravens, and then is there anyone else in there that we're not?
Maybe the Jaguars, I
Jaguars.
think.
And if I do think
The
it
Jets.
depends on how you look at Tony Pollard, but the Titans' weapons
I'm about to say
on paper,
on paper it look good.
that trio of receivers is
All
pretty
right.
good.
Well,
It does look good.
okay.
I'm not saying I take them over the Browns. I'm just saying those are other teams you could.
high end elite talent. The Browns, the Titans don't have
D-Hop.
anybody. He's not high end elite at this
Calvin
point in his career.
Ridley.
I don't think so.
They're not
No,
high
he's
end
not.
elite.
I would take Amari Cooper over D-Hop right now.
I agree.
right?
Yes.
So Amari Cooper's better than any of the receivers on the Titans.
I agree.
Amari Cooper's better than any receivers on the Ravens.
Is he better than
Yes.
Zay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
I mean,
You, boy,
I'm not
almost,
saying
you
no.
almost cussed.
Wait. You'd rather have Zay be
'Cause
going
he's
forward
younger,
'cause he's
yeah.
younger. But right now, for this year,
I'd probably
Amari's
agree.
Amari, of the teams we're looking at now, the Titans, the Browns,
That
the
man
Ravens,
almost made me curse.
and the Jaguars, guys.
I'm just asking the question. I'm not
All right.
saying I'm disagreeing.
The Titans, Browns, Ravens, and Jaguars. Those are the 4 we're looking at for the 4 seed. All right? I think Amari Cooper's the best wide receiver
Out of all-
amongst all
Out
those
of all
teams.
of them.
Yeah.
That's probably
Right?
fair.
Okay. Now, tight end.
And Chubb should be the best
Mark-
running back
Mark
of all those
Andrews.
teams if
Tight,
he's
right.
if
Tight
he's
end,
healthy.
you got Mark Andrews, you got Evan Ingram, and you got David Njoku.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews is the best.
But he hurt.
I would take Njoku over Ingram,
I
but
would
it's
too.
close.
I would too.
That's very close. You taking Ingram over Njoku?
I'm not saying I am. I feel like they're
Ingram's
about the
older.
same. I feel like they're about the same.
They're same level.
Yeah.
I like Njoku's upside a little more than Ingram this
I
year.
think that Njoku causes more of a mismatch than Evan Ingram does.
The Njoku that we saw with Joe Flacco.
That's what I'm talking
take
about.
him
Yeah,
over. Right,
that's what I'm talking
But is
about.
that the guy who's and it's not his fault. The system and the quarterback.
for this
He has not looked with Deshaun like he did with Joe Flacco.
for this exercise, I'm guessing that's the Njoku we talking about.
so. Running back, it's Nick Chubb, it's Derrick Henry, and it's
Tony
Pollard, and it's Travis Etienne. I would, even with the risk of Chubb, I would put him no worse than second on that list. I'd
Oh, for
still
sure.
put him at NTN.
It's between him and Derrick Henry.
Right. And
if Chubb, he's better than Derrick. I'd take him over Derrick Henry right
I
now.
would.
As a running back, yes.
Yes.
But for the team, that's where I'm getting worried because Baltimore runs the ball.
Yeah.
And Cleveland seems like they're trying to get away from that.
Now, Baltimore does not have good wide receiver depth.
So they're going to use
Tennessee has the edge of these 4 teams in terms of wide receiver depth.
Yes.
They have. I like their depth better than the Browns' depth.
D-Hop, Ridley, Treylon Burks.
Because I'd rather have Ridley is better than Judy.
Yes. Up
Not
until
by
this,
a ton,
up
but
until
he's
this point,
better.
yes.
And Treylon Burks, you take that upside over. Elijah Moore's got no upside, I think.
Stop that.
Come on now.
Stop that. Stop. Don't do that. Because
You think he's got upside?
I feel like he had missed opportunity, and that's partially on Phillip.
Well, he's going to get fewer opportunities
Yeah, that's
now.
right.
No, it's a shame.
I think it's tough. I think in the end, I would probably go Browns 4. I think those 4 teams are all pretty close. I think 4 through 7 is tough.
But then you gotta throw a guy like Keaton Mitchell in there who was
He's nice.
dangerous.
If they had
would you take him over Jerome Ford?
I would. Now, he didn't play a lot last year, but when he did, he looked special.
You take him over Jerome Ford?
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm looking at I'm trying to put the whole thing
Breaking
together.
it down.
Trying to put the whole thing together. All right, give me the Browns at 4, man.
What are you doing?
I would put the Browns at 4.
All right, we're going
Browns
Browns
at
at 4.
Browns at 4.
All right, so now
Let's
we're
keep finishing it out. We might as well just finish it out here.
So now we're Ravens, Jaguars, Titans.
I'd put the Ravens 5.
I would go Ravens 5, Jags 6, Titans 7 for me.
Do the Steelers creep into this at all with 2 backs, Jalen Warren and Najee Harris?
Well, let's compare the Steelers to say the Jaguars. All right, Christian Kirk and Pickens. I'd rather have Pickens.
Yes.
Yes.
But neither team has great wide receivers. Who's the Jags' number 2 wide
Gabe
receiver?
Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Oh,
Right now, the Steelers don't have a number 2.
Van Jefferson.
It's Van Jefferson.
Well, Gabe Davis is better than Van Jefferson.
Yes.
The Jaguars have a better tight end. Ingram's better than Freiermuth.
Yes.
At running back, I think Etienne's a little better than
Harris.
Najee. But they got Jalen.
Or who is the other back in Jacksonville?
It's close.
Tank Bigsby is their backup.
That's the dude from Auburn.
It's close. But the Steelers, like Pickens is special. The rest of their guys, like their backfield, it's a nice combo. And then they got nothing else.
Najee Harris he hasn't been what I thought he would be.
All right, Titans or the Ravens are definitely 5.
We all agree Ravens at
Right?
5?
We agree Ravens 5?
I said Ravens 5, yeah.
No?
All right.
Tyvis?
The Titan thing still got me a little bit.
Titans versus Ravens?
The Titan, listen, that receiver, and it just depends on how you look at Tony Pollard, and that's the thing. He had a down year, but 2 years ago he was really special. So,
Well, the Ravens have a big edge at tight end over the Titans.
that's true too.
At running back, it's
Give me
Pollard. I'd go with the Ravens.
Yeah, just give me the Ravens.
So Ravens 5,
I'd listen to Titans here.
6
Six
Titans,
Titans.
Jags, or Steelers. Who else is there?
The Bills, the Jets, the
No.
Colts.
Ooh, see now the Jets.
Yeah, like the
We
Jets.
forgot about the Jets once you get to 6.
Brees Hall, Mike
Brees
Williams,
Hall-
and Garrett Wilson is nasty.
Brees Hall and Gary Wilson's legit.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson is better than anybody on the Titans. He's better than any wide receiver on the Jags. I take him over Pickens with the Steelers. For me, you guys with me on that or no?
All right, yeah.
As the total package, I think Pickens is a better receiver, I think. But Garrett Wilson isn't quite the knucklehead that Pickens is.
Right.
So if you're making me pick one, I take Garrett Wilson.
I'm taking Garrett Wilson.
I'm taking Garrett Wilson.
And-
Bias reasons too.
And I'm taking Brees Hall over Derrick Henry for me. I'm taking him over Pollard. I'm taking him over Etienne. I'm taking him over the Steelers combo.
I would put the Titans 6 and the Jets 7 because I think the Titans have more depth.
And you guys haven't mentioned the Chiefs yet. Not sure if they creep in
By
here at
reason.
any point, but I just want to make sure. You asked teams, we forgot.
It makes Patrick Mahomes that much more special.
I actually would take the Jets
over the Titans?
I would.
I think I would too.
I think the Titans have more depth.
I think I would too.
Yeah, but Mike Williams, I know he's hurt, a lot.
A lot.
He
Who's the Titans' number 2 again?
Ridley.
Oh, Ridley.
And Ridley's been hurt. I mean,
I think for production standpoint, I would take the Jets. And
Jets-
and yes, we talking about just weapons, but the quarterback just has
All right,
to
then
factor.
Jets 6.
The Jets
Yeah.
factor. Aaron Rodgers over Will Levis.
well, but you got to leave that
I
out.
know, but at the end of the day,
No, but you gotta
they're
leave that
going to
out.
be
For
more
this, the
productive
quarterback
for
does not
that
matter,
reason.
Tyler.
You got to judge them as if they had the same quarterback.
Jets.
I'd still take the Jets. All right, because the Jets 6,
So that in Titans 7, if we're that close.
Yeah.
Titans 7 over the Steelers. Yeah, I think we're in agreement on that. 7, Titans.
So then
that
where are
leaves
you at?
us-
8 is either the Steelers or the Jaguars. You got the Bills still. You got the Chiefs.
Are we really disrespecting the Chiefs?
Well,
like
who can
this?
we throw out? Okay, let's see the Chiefs.
The Chiefs,
Bills don't make
they
the
got
top.
No,
Marquise
Bills are
Brown and Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and
Pacheco.
Pacheco. That's good. Like that.
But
I think we're undervaluing the Chiefs a little bit.
We are.
Yeah,
we are. It's some disrespect there
All right,
because you
let's
got
go back
the
a
best tight end of all time.
Who do we just put 7?
The Titans.
Okay, so let's compare the Titans to the Chiefs. Pacheco or Pollard? I'm taking Pacheco.
Pacheco.
Wide receiver 1. I thought Rashee Rice was very. I don't know. He's in some trouble here. I don't know what's going to happen. But for now, he's on the team.
I don't think he's going to miss the year. I don't think.
I would honestly rather have, this may be a crazy statement, I would rather have Rashee Rice than any of those receivers for this year. Now,
That's ridiculous.
that's just my opinion.
That's
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
disagree with
That's
that.
my
That's
opinion.
ridiculous.
I thought he showed a lot of progress.
I actually will put him third.
Okay.
But how much of that progress is because who's throwing the ball to him?
I mean,
We got to call this thing even. You got to, as if they have.
I hear you.
If Rashee Rice and
quarterback.
Hop have the same
But
quarterback,
Hopkins is old.
So
okay.
what?
He's like 32. He
But
can go
we're
over the
doing it
cliff
for
at any
right.
moment.
But we're doing it for
I know
right
we're doing
now.
it for projecting ahead, and I'm projecting it. And then Travis Kelce is a landslide over the Titans tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably put the Chiefs.
I'd
up.
actually would put the Chiefs ahead
I
of the
think I'll
Titans.
put the Chiefs there.
Jason, we talking
well,
into it?
No,
So now
but
Chiefs 7,
I'm
Titans
Chiefs
8.
7, Titans 8.
So who can we throw out? Who's not going to make the list? The Bills,
Bills
are not going to make the list.
the Bills ain't making the list.
Who else did you have there, Mike? Who are we forgetting?
The Steelers, the Bills, and the Jaguars.
There's got to be one of the team, no?
No, we have 2 spots left, and
Well,
I
the
made
Colts.
11.
All
I
right,
made
so
11
Steelers,
graphics. And the
Jaguars.
Colts, yeah.
Steelers, Jaguars. Pickens over Kirk.
I mean,
Jags.
he didn't make one for the Colts, so should we go through the Colts?
All right, so let's go. So top wide receiver, you got Pickens for the Steelers, you got Pittman for the Colts, you got Kirk for the Jags. I'd actually take Pittman over any of those guys.
I take Pickens.
I take Pickens over
Pittman.
Yes.
Yeah, I go Pittman.
Do you want to hear the Colts depth chart real quick? I'll read you
Yeah,
the graphic. But Jonathan Taylor and Trey Sermon are your 2 running backs.
Go Bucks.
Pittman, Josh Downs, and Alec Pierce, your top 3 receivers.
That's good.
And your tight ends are Kyle Granson and Mo Alley Cox.
Granson was a rookie last year.
I like their number 1 running back, their number 1 receiver.
I do too.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor is better than any skill position on a guy on Jacksonville and better than any skill position guy on Pittsburgh.
I think
I
you might
would
be
probably-
you undervaluing ETN a little bit. Not saying he's Jonathan
He's not better
Taylor.
than Jonathan Taylor.
No, he's not better.
No,
than
he's a
that.
good back.
Yeah.
I hear you, but he's not. I think I would put the Colts next.
I'd put the Steelers next.
You break the
Tie
tie.
tiebreaker.
Steelers, Colts,
Or Jaguars.
Or Jaguars.
Let me see the Jags again.
Steve, pull the Jags. It's ETN, Bigsby, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Devin Duvernay, Parker Washington, Evan Ingram, and DeGuara, your tight end.
I just don't see how that's better than the Colts. They're a little better at tight end. The Colts are better at wide receiver 1. The Colts are better at running back.
That's true. That is true.
And then Colts versus Steelers.
I think I will put the Colts in there.
What about Colts versus Steelers?
Colts.
Colts? Okay.
So Colts go, what is it, 9?
9, yep.
And who goes 10, Steelers or Jags?
Steelers.
I'm with you. Jason, you're on Steelers.
I had Steelers higher than Colts.
So, all right, so there you go. Colts 9, Steelers 10.
So we did a YouTube
Wow,
poll.
the Jags didn't even make the top 10.
We did a YouTube poll, by the way. You guys were higher on the Browns than everyone else.
Then YouTube?
What?
YouTube.
That's a
according to
first.
The live YouTube chat
Wow.
had them 10% top 3, 39% top 5, 40% top 10.
Well, we had top 5.
Well, yeah, but the majority, by
1%
1%, but the most of all the categories voted on.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, Mike, because 49% combined had them in the top 5. Because you have to combine top 3 and top 5.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right in that sense.
But it's still under 50, right? It was 1039.
1039, correct.
I'm shocked.
Let's see the top 5 again.
Yeah, top 5. You guys went with Houston, Miami, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Baltimore. 3 of the 4 AFC North teams, by the way.
And they had them out of the top 5.
I mean, you could make the case for Baltimore ahead of Cleveland. I
Right,
don't
but then
agree.
They're still in the
They're
top
still
5.
So
Yeah.
who do we have at 6?
6, the Jets, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Colts.
I'm not putting the Jets above the Browns.
No.
I'm not putting any of those
I mean-
teams above the Browns.
By the way, who'd you take, Garrett Wilson or Amari Cooper?
Garrett Wilson.
Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
And I take Brees Hall over Nick Chubb for this year.
Only because
That's
Garrett.
why.
Only because Garrett is younger. That's the only reason. Like,
So it's Garrett over Amari Cooper is a slight edge for the Jets, and because of Nick Chubb's uncertainty,
Brees Hall.
and Brees Hall you'd put ahead of Chubb, and that's why maybe you can make the argument for the Jets.
I guess.
Now beyond that, the Jets don't have much.
I take Mike Williams over Judy.
Well, that's true.
Mike Williams' best has certainly been better than Judy. I'd
Maybe
rather,
we need to reevaluate this.
I'd actually rather have Judy.
I'd rather Mike Williams.
I think
I'd take Mike Williams.
Brown's got a big edge at tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Jets don't have a tight end. But and the Jet, who's the Jets' number 2 running back?
He has a weird last name.
Oh yeah.
Where do we put the
Israel
Jets? 6?
Akabanda,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
Do we have them 6? We had the Jets 6.
6, yeah.
Jets 6, yeah.
I mean, it's close.
I guess you could. I mean, if you
You could make an
a
argument
case
for the Browns to be
Baltimore and New
6.
York.
You could. But I think it's very close between actually the Jets, the Ravens, and the Browns for 4.
Do you think we coming from this from a bias standpoint?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
we're
either.
it's not like it's J and G on the panel. Or Earl.
These poor men catching strays, out minding their own business.
I mean, you could listen.
If it was JG and Earl on here,
4 or
Browns would have
5.
been number 1.
4, 5, and 6. Any way you want to put that order,
Yeah.
I respect it.
Well, we asked Twitter as well. I put it out this morning.
Yeah.
So I want to read you just a couple Twitter responses before we move on to our 100% certain would be a star before they ever played conversation. But Stevie, take tagboard here. Couple answers. First one comes from Mike Paris. Said hinges on the health of Chubb. If he can return to form, it's a top 5 unit. Next up was Good Beast. Only teams that have a better unit are Miami and Houston, maybe the Jets and Jacksonville. And I'm not all that sure Houston is better than us. We have a better tight end by a long shot, assuming Chubb is at least as good as Mixon. But, yeah, they have a better wide
How do you
receiver
have a
group.
better tight end by a long
I'm
shot?
about to say you sleeping on Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz
'cause
and
he's
David
good.
Njoku, there's not much of a difference between those two.
And Jackson,
The Njoku's had 1 good year. 1.
only teams better, Miami and Houston. You're forgetting Cincinnati. Well, I think Cincinnati for sure is better. Maybe the Jets and Jacksonville for sure is not.
We didn't put Jacksonville in our top 10, right? That was the team.
No,
that
they
missed.
left
Yeah.
him out.
All right, next one. We have CBB.
I mean, we didn't just go through that quickly. We really thought about it. We weren't. Doesn't mean we're right, but
You know, we
we took a
put
lot
the
of
full
time with
thought,
that.
Yeah.
This
This is from CBB Dynasty BK. When they're all healthy, for running backs top 3, receivers top 10, somewhere for tight ends top 5. I think he did that individually, and we got one more. Or is that the
Browns
last
are not top 5
That
in
was the
tight
last
end.
one? In the AFC,
You don't
they
think
are.
so?
Oh, in the AFC? Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
AFC,
right.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of 5 tight ends.
I was thinking the whole league, but
Kelsey,
no. A lot of good
Andrews.
tight ends are in the NFC.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Houston.
It's nasty.
It's incredible how fast they flipped it. Like, think about where Houston was just a couple years ago with the Deshaun mess and everything else.
Well, in the end, it all comes down
It comes down to the quarterback.
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, they got the
If
quarterback.
the
Right,
Panthers had not blown it,
Yeah.
if the Panthers had taken C.J. Stroud, it's a whole different
Oh,
story.
I totally agree. But they didn't.
Yeah.
And look where Houston is now.
Right.
Look how fast they flipped it. And now we have them top 2. And they have the quarterback, and we have them number 1. We put them number 1, right?
Yep.
Yes.
In weapons.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
All right, we're going to move on to our next topic.